Hey guys, what's up? It's Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews here with a haul video, and there's gonna be some stuff that's just kind of random stuff I've bought over the past like month or so. It's been over a month since my last Blu-ray DVD update, so I've bought like one or two things since then. But I went to Cinema Wasteland, so I have a decent-sized haul for that, and I was literally just waiting to go to Cinema Wasteland and waiting for one other thing to arrive before recording this video. So let's just get right into it. Cinema Wasteland this year, pretty good, you know. Didn't get to stay too long. Went with my aunt and my sister, and they're not used to the atmosphere of Cinema Wasteland, so they were kind of following me around, like they weren't into it as much as somebody like me is into Cinema Wasteland. Not that I'm mad at them for it or anything, but I did end up staying for about half the time I usually end up staying there. I usually end up, when I'm at Cinema Wasteland, I'm usually there for about 5-6 hours. I was only there for about 3 hours on Saturday, which is very low, mainly because they were obviously not having that good of a time, so I didn't want to make them suffer any longer, and I had already spent like all the money I wanted to spend. So I bought mostly movies, and I got a bunch of autographs, so I will start with the, I guess I'll start with the autographs. Just get that out of the way. Let me grab the autographed stuff here. So, the main reason I wanted to go in October, I wouldn't have gone if it wasn't for this one big reason, and that is the cast reunion of My Bloody Valentine. And they were having a decent-sized number of the cast there. I think it was like 6 members from the cast and the director there. And I figured this is going to be the only time I have a chance to meet all of these people from my favorite slasher film and, you know, tell them that I really love the movie and that and that I just really appreciate all of their work in it, even if they were not in the movie that much. And, yeah, I got my copy of My Bloody Valentine absolutely covered in signatures. There is like, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the front and one rather big one on the back. I told them don't be afraid to obscure the cover art, but they didn't kind of want to obscure it that much. But yeah, I got like a good number of the cast members, including the chick who was like Sarah, John from it, Mike from it. I say these characters' names like I remember. But still, you know, it was really cool to get to meet them all. And I met the guy who was Harry Warden, and he signed it pretty big, like that really big signature right there. That's his. And you know, he asked me when I handed him my copy of My Bloody Valentine. He's like, "Oh, the special uncut edition," and he asked me what I thought of it. And I said, you know, it's really great. Like, without the gore, it's not as good of a movie, but it's really great with all the additional gore and stuff in it. And I told him about when I first saw the movie when I was in high school and how it really blew me away that this movie had, like, no kind of, like, solid fan base to it. Like, this wasn't a legendary slasher film the same way, like, Friday the 13th is, when I would argue this film is superior to Friday the 13th in many ways, but still, you know, he was really happy to meet me because I was a fan. They were all really nice and really happy to meet a fan. I was wearing my Santa Sangre shirt, and one of the cast members even asked me about the shirt, and I told them about Santa Sangre, and I told them it's directed by a crazy hippie acid guru, and they were like, "That sounds really cool. What's that movie called?" And I told them about it and everything, but still, you know, it was really cool to get to meet everybody. They were all very, very nice, and that was a great, great experience that I will never forget, and I'm happy to have this copy absolutely covered in signatures. On to the second autograph I got, which this is a less fun experience, more of a sad one. So, I don't know if it was the fact that I was kind of quiet, I was kind of mumbling, and I was obviously nervous and shy to meet this specific person, but when I met Tom Savini, he was very impersonal and very quick about signing what I wanted him to sign and taking my money and getting me on my way. usually when I've met a lot of different horror icons, they like to ask me what my name is, shake my hand, ask me a question about something just completely random, like what was like when I met Michael Berryman earlier this year, he asked me if I had seen The Hills Have Eyes Part 2. And he said that he had a lot of fun working on that movie, and that was very fun. And I told him, yeah, I really liked that movie. And I was expecting Tom Savini to be a very similar thing, like, oh, what do you think is my best work as an effects man or as an actor? But he was just kind of, hey, and how's it going? Oh, yeah, this, yeah. And he just kind of signed it. And, usually, again, this is based on my previous experiences meeting horror icons. More often than not, they'll want to personalize the object and put to whoever. In this case, it would be to Cody. Usually, they want to put that. Usually, they want to personalize it. I've rarely had anybody just sign it and give it back to me and not ask, do you want this personalized or not ask my name. More often than not, you usually have to say, hey, don't personalize it, because that's the thing. But Tom Savini, he just kind of signed it and sent me on my way, and I'm kind of sad about that, because I really like his work as both an actor and as an effects man, and I really wanted to, I told him I was a really big fan, and I held out my hand to shake his hand, and it took him a second to just react and finally shake my hand, as if it was kind of a chore to do so. And that really hurts me personally. After it happened, I was like, am I just too weird? And I'm like, no, there are probably way weirder people he's had to fucking shake hands with and sign stuff for. More often than not, when I get autographs from people and when I do that, they're very kind. They always say, hi, how you doing? They always ask what the name is to personalize it. They always shake your hand. They usually ask if you want a photo with them. But Tom Savini was just kind of straight to the point with it and was just like, yeah, here you go. And that really makes me sad, because I have a lot of respect for Tom Savini as like I said, an actor and an effects man. So, having my copy of Dawn of the Dead signed by Tom Savini is kind of depressing to me. I'm actually sad to have this object that I've wanted to have autographed by cast and crew members, but now it's just kind of a memento of a time when I met somebody I respect and they weren't very nice. So yeah, that's that for the autographs and stuff, and that's whatever. I just spent nearly 10 minutes talking about that, so let's just get into the rest of the stuff I bought. I bought the new James Bell film, The Bliss. This was like $10. Haven't got the chance to watch it yet. Planned on watching this one for my best of the year list, because, last year, Tantrum 2 made it onto my best of the year list, and I'm sure that The Bliss will make it onto my best of the year list for this year, but I still have to wait and see on that one. So, yeah. But yeah, The Bliss. Don't know what it's about, but it's a James Bell film, so I'm sure it's weird and violent and fucked up. I hit up the Massacre booth, picked up a couple titles I was missing. Some people don't know this, but I've been trying to complete my Massacre DVD catalog, and I'm only missing 3 or 4 titles. Now, one of the titles is out of print, and I can't get it on their website. I think it's completely out of print. I don't know for sure, but it's not available on the Massacre website. And it's not available on Amazon, so I'm kind of dead in the water on that one. But I need some other ones. But I got their newest release, Dead American Woman, which is a release of the Peter Romeo Lambert who directed Nurse Jill, which is one of my favorite movies from a few years ago. This was his earlier horror movie, kind of dark comedy, gore, slasher film about a woman who is killed in a snuff film, and she comes back from the dead and, goes after the people who killed her. And that sounds pretty interesting. But this was the film he made before Nurse Jill, and it was, impossible to get your hands on, and I was really wanting to get my hands on it because it sounded cool, and I really like Nurse Jill. Happy they released this. This is, the new director's cut of it, because according to what I've read, the previous version that was released when it came out in, 2012, which was a very, very small release was only like 70 minutes. This is like 96 minutes, so this is definitely longer. But yeah, Massacre video, spine number 31. This is the most recent release. Next one is a release from Massacre that was one of the missing ones. It's Snuff 102. Don't have much to say about Snuff 102. I've seen this movie before. It's not a movie I actually like. I actually kind of hate Snuff 102. The only reason I own this movie is because it's part of the Massacre catalog, and I want to own every title in the catalog. So for that sake alone, I bought it, even though this isn't a movie I particularly like. And I picked up a Blu-ray, which was their Blu-ray release from last year of Hako Lantern. This was a very, very enjoyable movie. Reviewed this one on my channel. If you want to know my thoughts on it, go check out that review. But this isn't the special slipcover edition. This is just the basic Blu-ray release of Hako Lantern. Not that I need the special edition or anything. It's a fun movie either way, and I enjoy it. Hit up the Severin booth, as I usually end up doing. Picked up a few of the recent releases from Severin. Big release. Big time release here. One I was really looking forward to picking up is their Blu-ray release of the Changeling, which has the really cool slipcover, but and then you got the original poster art. But if you don't know about the Changeling, this is like one of the greatest fucking haunted house movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, and it is one of the only horror films to actually absolutely scare the hell out of me. This little Canadian forgotten ghost movie from the early 80s is in fact one of the greatest haunted house movies ever made, and it's kind of a shame that it's taken nearly 40 years for it to, I say 40 years to get a Blu-ray release, but you know what I mean. It came out in 1980. It's almost been 4 years. Either way, this is a great movie. Really love this movie. Really great, enjoyable, creepy as hell movie. Happy to finally upgrade to the Blu-ray, even though the slipcover is kind of damaged on the corner. If you guys can see that, it's got some fucking folds there, which kind of sucks. But that happens when you shrink wrap the fucking the slipcover onto the release. I also got Zombie 3 and 4, which I was hoping to get Shocking Dark, but they didn't have any. They sold out before I got there, and I was very upset about that because I was really looking forward to picking up these two, Shocking Dark, the Changeling, and like a couple other titles, but I didn't get to. But either way, yeah, I haven't seen Zombie 4 yet, but this release comes with the soundtrack to the movie, which is cool and everything. Zombie 3 I actually watched last night. This is a really fun movie. I'm kind of mad I never got around to watching it until last night, because I've been meaning to see it for a very long time, because I'm a very big fan of Fulci. Really enjoy the first zombie film, and I was really looking forward to checking this one out, and I'm happy I got it. And yeah, it's a very fun movie. Haven't watched After Death yet, though. Because, and randomly, the guy at the booth, because they didn't have any copies of Shocking Dark, just threw in this replica of the Changeling bouncy ball, which I'm kind of upset that they felt the need to put the Changeling on it and Severin and the Severin logo on it. Like, you couldn't have just left at least one side blank. Either way, it's a really cool little, like, actually solid, decent bouncy ball. That's a replica of the one from the Changeling, which is cool and everything. So yeah, I got that for free, so I'm not going to complain. Hit up the Diabolic DVD booth, mainly because I know they have a bunch of, for them, it's not just one specific company of titles or whatever, and it's not used DVDs like some of the other booths. It's just a collection of all these different titles. And I picked up the Blu-ray of Alice Sweet Alice from 88 Films. Not a big fan of 88 Films, mainly because they're a UK company. Their releases are more often than not Region B locked, and because every single fucking release they put out, because they kind of have to, they put the fucking, rating logo on it, and that kind of kills it for me, because I would have loved to pick up their releases of Absurd and Anthropophagus, but they felt the need to put this great, cool, original cover art inside a white box and then put a big-ass fucking rating logo on it. And again, I know they technically have to put the rating logo on it because that's like a thing in the UK, but like, seriously, guys, really? Like, you had to fuck it up that bad? That's why I didn't pick up those Blu-rays of Absurd or Anthropophagus. I think those were Region B locked anyway. But yeah, Alice Sweet Alice is one of my favorite slasher movies. Haven't watched it in a long time, so I'm gonna have to rewatch it. This comes with reversible cover art, but it's of the cover art for the alternate title of the film, which is Holy Terror, which, you know, I like the artwork, but but I know this film as Alice Sweet Alice, not Communion, not Holy Terror. I know it as Alice Sweet Alice, and I don't want to have to flip it around to the Holy Terror side just to not have the logo, the fucking rating logo on the front or the spine, but at the same time have to put it under the H when I fucking put it in my slasher films. So, yeah. Either way, Alice Sweet Alice. It's region free, which is great that it's finally got a nice Blu-ray release. I also got the Mondo Macabro release of Who Can Kill a Child. This is one I covered on my channel about a month ago, I think, which I really liked this movie. If you want to see that review, it is on the channel. It's a really, really good review. Really good, not a good review, but this is a great Spanish horror film from the 70s that nobody talks about, and it's kind of a shame that nobody talks about this, because this is a really cool fucking movie. Really great, like, killer kids movie. I will say, this is the first release I've ever bought from Mondo Macabro, and man, like, whoever designs their fucking discs and cases needs to be shot. Because look at this shit. It's just fucking, like, red with their logo on it that's bigger than the title of the movie. The logo is bigger than the fucking title of the movie. Like, do you need brand awareness that much, guys? And I would have preferred if they would have gone with, like, maybe an actual piece of poster artwork instead of just this screenshot from the film. Also, good job on the back, guys. It's just fucking red with text and 3 or 4 images from the movie. Yeah, Mondo Macabro, you guys need to step up your fucking game when it comes to, like, graphic design. It's like that meme where it's like, graphic design is my passion, and it's just like something somebody made in MS Paint. Yeah. Hit up Henrik's booth. Henrik Kuto, filmmaker friend I know, filmmaker I know from Dayton, Ohio. He is actually currently working on funding sequels to his slasher film Babysitter Massacre, which is a very good movie and very enjoyable slasher film, and I'm happy he's finally working on sequels to it. But I got his Backyard Legacy collection, which is essentially just like 6 hours of shot-on-video films he made when he was in his teens, as well as a movie he made, one of his first like feature films, which was Marty Jenkins and the Vampire Bitches, which I haven't seen that one. But still, yeah, I'm looking forward to checking this out. It's a bunch of shot-on-video stuff, and that's really great. I like shot-on-video films quite a bit. Got a couple things from the Vinegar Syndrome booth. This is one of the last titles I picked up, and this is another one I watched the other day. It's Terror, the release of a Norman J. Warren film. Norman J. Warren, he directed Inseminoid, which is a pretty decent, like, British Alien ripoff. He also directed, what is it? Bloody New Year, which I covered on my channel, which I enjoyed, and he also covered Satan's Slave, which is another movie I covered last year on my channel, which was another movie that I kind of enjoyed. And so far, all of the movies I've seen from him were just movies that I was like, yeah, that's actually a pretty good little movie. It's nothing great. This is the first movie from him that I would say is actually, like, pretty good. It's a interesting supernatural British giallo film, kind of, about a descendants of witch hunters being killed by some kind of malevolent force. It's pretty decently violent, and it's got a cool atmosphere. It's got some colorful lighting. I really dig all of that. And yeah, this is the first film from Norman J. Warren I'm actually going to say, like, this is actually an actually pretty good movie. Really liked Terror. Very enjoyable. And yeah. I would have gotten the other film that Vinegar Syndrome put out from Norman J. Warren, which is The Prey. But yeah, I bought this one, and I was talking to the guys at the booth about it. I was like, I've been meaning to pick up some of your Warren titles, because Warren, directed Satan's Slave, and Satan's Slave is pretty good, and we were chopping it up about that. Last title I bought, last title I have to talk about from Cinema Wasteland, and the last and the only other title I bought from Vinegar Syndrome is P.D. Wheatstraw, which this has always been advertised as like the third Dolomite movie, when really there are only two Dolomite movies, which is Dolomite and the Human Tornado. But pretty much this stars Rudy Ray Moore, who was Dolomite, and he's basically playing Dolomite, except it's not Dolomite. He's just playing a completely different character named P.D. Wheatstraw, who ends up like marrying the daughter of the devil, and ends up as the devil's son-in-law, and the devil gives him a magical pimp cane, and he does shit with it, and this is easily like the best of the Dolomite series, I guess, if you want to lump it together in the Dolomite series, because let's be honest here, this is Dolomite just with a supernatural horror twist. Very enjoyable, very ridiculous, absurd as hell. I really like this movie, and it's yeah. I don't know what else to say about P.D. Wheatstraw. This movie is wild as hell, and this is another one I'm happy I picked up and happy I watched. Okay, on to... Actually, the last thing I got, Cinema Wasteland. This isn't a movie, but I bought the Cinema Wasteland, like, Pint Glass, which has the artwork from the little girl down the lane that starred Jodie Foster in the 70s. Pretty good, like, kind of psychological horror, killer kids movie. And, yeah, I just got this because it was like a $10 pint glass, and I was like, hey, Cinema Wasteland, official pint glass, why not? Okay. What do I want to get on to next? I guess I'll get on to the Blu-rays. A couple random Blu-rays I purchased. Or actually, you know what? Before I get into those, I gotta get into the shit from Severin that just arrived that I was waiting for. Ordered the Maneater bundle from Severin Films of Anthropophagus and Absurd. Really like both of those movies, especially love Anthropophagus. Happy it has a Blu-ray release in the US. The Maneater bundle came with a Anthropophagus t-shirt, which I will be wearing that with pride. That is a very, very nice shirt. Also came with 2 pins. The other pin, apparently there were some quality control issues, so they said they'll be shipping that one out later once they get some more made. But I got the other one, which is their Hall of Fame series of Joe D'Amato. So I have a Joe D'Amato pin, and I like Joe D'Amato's movies. Like, he's actually made a couple pretty good movies, Beyond the Darkness and Anthropophagus and Absurd being a few of them. Another extra that came with the bundle is the Anthropophagus official plush toy, which comes with gut-munching action, and apparently you can stuff his guts back in him, too, which I'm not going to fucking try on video, because that's just too much effort. But it's a pretty well-made little plush. You know, he's got some Velcro on his chin. You just kind of attach the intestines there, and then boom, you're ready to go. Look at that. Oh yeah, there he goes. Yeah. It's limited to 800, and this is the big reason I got the Maneater bundle, because I really wanted to get this. I totally would have gotten their Sinful Dwarf plush if I would have known that existed when I bought the Sinful Dwarf, but I didn't. This is still very, very nice little plush. This is gonna go on my shelf. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's literally the Anthropophagus official plush. What more do you want? I don't want anything else other than this. This is too good to be true, honestly. That's gonna go right here behind my jacket. Either way. And then, of course, the Blu-rays, which come in this nice little slit box that has both Blu-rays in it, that has the VHS artwork for both of them. Haven't actually taken the theft stickers, the anti-theft stickers off these Blu-rays. So let me just do that real quick. But yeah, Anthropophagus is like an amazing movie, one I really love. Happy it's got a nice new Blu-ray release. Also comes with reversible cover art, which it has the more classy cover art on it, but I prefer the absolutely, you know, just graphic and in your face, the absolutely, you know, graphic, in your face original poster artwork of the Anthropophagus eating his own intestines. And then you got Absurd, which is kind of a sequel to Anthropophagus in a way. Both of the movies were in turn, you know, advertised as entries in the Zombie series, which was started by Fulci. I think Absurd is actually the one. It is billed as the Grim Reaper 2, which makes it, you know, the unofficial sequel to Anthropophagus, but it was also billed as what is it? Zombie 6 Monster Hunter, which it comes with the soundtrack on a CD, which the soundtrack features the artwork from the the artwork for the title Monster Hunter, which I would have, in all honesty, would have preferred if they would have went with that for the reverse side. But again, they have the more classy cover art on the reverse side. But I will say it again, who the hell wants the classy cover art when it comes to movies like Anthropophagus and Absurd? Like, you don't want the cover art that makes it look like it's an atmospheric horror film or makes it look like it's a giallo film. Nobody wants that. You want the graphic, wild cover art, or the classic fucking, you know, Axe cover art on it. Either way, holds both the Blu-rays. Very nice slip box. This was another reason I wanted to get the Maneater bundle, because I love the original VHS artwork for these movies, so I wanted to get the slip box too. Okay, now on to a couple Blu-rays I got my hands on recently. These are bootleg Blu-rays that I bought from somebody in a VHS group I'm in on Facebook. So yeah, these aren't like official releases or anything. Guess I'll go ahead and talk about the first one. End of Evangelion on Blu-ray. This, again, very simple, bootleg, no artwork on the disc, just a regular BDR, but it comes with the English dub, the Japanese audio, as well as subtitles for both, and that's very cool. I don't know what to say about End of Evangelion, because it's legitimately a masterpiece when it comes to animated films. Like, this is one of the greatest animated movies ever made. But in order to see it and understand it, you have to sit through an entire anime series that is, in my opinion, not anything too amazing on its own until you see the movie. And this movie has yet to be released in HD in the US. Yet to be released on Blu-ray in the US, only in Japan. And the Japan release, while it is Region A, it does not have the English dub or English subtitles on it, so it's kind of fucked. But this is sourced from the Japanese Blu-ray with the English dub and subtitles added on as extras, so that's cool. Very nice little release. Cost me about $10 with shipping, because I bought a second title from the guy, which is the other title. Another anime film. This one's more in tune with my channel, because my channel is a horror review channel. It's Perfect Blue, Satoshi Kon's Perfect Blue, which the back has my ticket stub from when I saw Perfect Blue in a theater, which was a very cool experience, even though I saw the English dub. Again, nothing too special about the disc here. This time it's just plain white. But, and nothing too special about the spine either, it's just white. But it looks nice, the cover art does, and the back of it I think looks pretty nice too. But Perfect Blue, this is another movie that's like one of the greatest animated movies I've ever seen, probably, and this is one of my favorite psychological horror films as well. What can I say about Perfect Blue? It's a really interesting, insane psychological horror film about a pop star who quits being a pop star to become an actress, and as that happens, she finds out about a website that seems to be a fake blog of her life run by somebody else, and this person who's running this blog seems to know every single little detail of her life. There's some twists and turns, it gets violent, it gets rapey, and yeah, this is a great movie, and it's a shame that this hasn't been released in the US on Blu-ray. Again, there's a DVD available, just like with Evangelion, End of Evangelion. There's a DVD available in North America, but it's out of print, so it's really not worth it at that point. Either way, Perfect Blue, really great stuff. This version of it is literally just the English, the UK Blu-ray of it with all the special features and everything, and the menus and everything ported over to another disc. So this is actually basically the British Blu-ray, which again, not native to, not US friendly. So yeah, I had to get 2 bootlegs, which again, together, 20 bucks with shipping. That's not bad. I got like a little string doll here. I won this out of a claw machine. Just kind of figured I'd throw it in because it's kind of cool. It's a little devil, little demon kind of string doll, and it's actually made of like fucking string. Like these limbs are fucking stiff. Let me tell you. But it's cool little fucking trinket, whatever. I won it out of a claw machine. I rarely win things out of claw machines, so it's kind of cool that I won something that again is kind of horror-esque, so it fits with my channel. And then the last thing I have to talk about is a CD I purchased, which is the first King Crimson album in the Court of the Crimson King. Look, I'm not an expert when it comes to music or anything. I've only recently discovered King Crimson, but after listening to this entire album on YouTube, and there's no HD versions of the songs on YouTube. It's all a bunch of old, like, live performances and really shitty versions of it available on YouTube. After listening to a bunch of shitty live versions of this album, of songs from this album, I decided to buy it because I wanted to be able to listen to it in a pretty good quality. So I did. And this is like, after listening to it just once in the shitty quality, I was like, this is one of the greatest prog rock albums I've ever heard, I think. And I still stand by that with this album. This is an amazing album. Really great stuff. You know, very simple, basic kind of release. I don't have too much to say other than it's a really great album because, again, I'm not an expert on music, so I can't say, like, you know, what minor all the songs are in and everything. So anyway, that is it for this update. I've been dying to fucking record this update. So anyway, guys, this is Biscuit Boo Horror Reviews signing off. Peace.